10 Secrets of the Brooklyn Bridge. 138 years ago today, throngs of New Yorkers came to the Manhattan and Brooklyn waterfronts to celebrate the opening of what was then known as the New York and Brooklyn Bridge. It was reported that 1,800 vehicles and 150,300 people total crossed what was then the only land passage between Brooklyn and Manhattan. The bridge, later dubbed the Brooklyn Bridge, a name that stuck, went on to become one of the most iconic landmarks in New York. There's been plenty of history and secrets along the way. Lesser known facts about the bridge include everything from hidden wine cellars to a parade of 21 elephants crossing in 1884. To celebrate the anniversary of the Brooklyn Bridge, 6SQFT rounded up its top 10 most intriguing secrets. 1. The idea for a Brooklyn-Manhattan bridge was as old as the century. Much like the 2nd Avenue subway, the idea of a bridge connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn was considered years before construction actually happened. According to The Great Bridge, by David McCullough, the first serious proposal for a bridge was recorded in Brooklyn in 1800. The carpenter and landscaper Thomas Pope proposed a flying pendant lever bridge to cross the East River, and his idea was kept alive for 60 years as plans for the Brooklyn Bridge developed. But the cantilevered bridge, made completely out of wood, didn't prove to be structurally sound. Chain bridges, wire bridges, even a bridge 100 feet wide were all proposed to connect the two waterfronts. The main challenge was that the East River, actually a tidal strait, is a turbulent waterway crammed with boats. The bridge needed to pass over the masts of ships, and could not have piers or a drawbridge. 2. When construction actually did start, the bridge was considered symbolic of a new age. When plans for a bridge actually came together, in the 1860s, planners, engineers, and architects knew this was not to be a run-of-the-mill bridge. From the offset, it was considered, according to McCullough, one of history's great connecting works. Symbolic of a new age. They wanted their bridge to stand up against projects like the Suez Canal and the Transcontinental Railroad. It was planned as the largest suspension bridge in the world, lined with towers that would dwarf everything else in view. At the time, steel was considered the metal of the future, and the bridge would be the first in the country to utilize it. And once open, it would serve as a great avenue between both cities. John Augustus Roebling, the bridge's designer, claimed it will not only be the greatest bridge in existence, but it will be the greatest engineering work of the continent, and of the age. 3. The towers were crucial to the bridge's success. Many of the bridge's construction challenges, which delayed the project for so many years, were solved by its identical 268-foot-tall towers. Architecturally, they were distinguished by twin Gothic arches, 2 in each tower, which allowed the roadways to pass through. Reaching more than 100 feet high, the arches were meant to be reminiscent of a church's great cathedral windows. They were constructed of limestone, granite, and Rosendale cement. Heralded as the most massive things ever built on the entire North American continent, the towers also served a crucial engineering role. They bore the weight of 4 enormous cables and held the cables and roadway of the bridge high enough so not to interfere with river traffic. 4. The first woman to cross the bridge also supervised its construction. John Roebling, the initial designer of the bridge, never got to see it to fruition. While taking compass readings in preparation for its construction, his foot got stuck and crushed between a ferry and the dock. Doctors amputated his toes, but Roebling slipped into a coma and died of tetanus. His son Washington Roebling took over responsibilities but suffered 2 attacks of Kaizen disease, known then as the bends, during construction. 5. The bridge was built with numerous passageways and compartments in its anchorages, including wine cellars. New York City rented out the large vaults under the bridge's Manhattan and Brooklyn anchorages in order to fund the bridge. Some space in each anchorage was dedicated to wine and champagne storage, and the alcohol was kept in stable temperatures throughout the year. The cellar on the Manhattan side was known as the Blue Grotto, and was covered in beautiful frescoes depicting vineyards in Germany, Italy, Spain, and France. They ended up closing in the 1930s, but a visit in 1978 uncovered this faded inscription: "Who loveth not wine, women and song, he remaineth a fool his whole life long." 6. There's also a Cold War-era bomb shelter under the bridge's main entrance. As 6SQFT pointed out a few years back, there is a nuclear bunker inside one of the massive stone arches below the bridge's main entrance on the Manhattan side. It is full of supplies, including medication like Dextran, water drums, paper blankets, and 352,000 calorie-packed crackers. The forgotten bulb wasn't discovered until 2006. When city workers performed a routine structural inspection and found cardboard boxes of supplies ink-stamped with 2 significant years in Cold War history. 1957, when the Soviets launched the Sputnik satellite, in 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Opera, Frederick Burr, artist. The grand opening march over the Brooklyn Bridge F. Opera. NY. Published by Kepler and Schwarzman. Photograph. Retrieved from the Library of Congress, Digital Collections. 7. A fatal stampede caused New Yorkers to doubt the bridge's strength. Only 6 days after the bridge opened, a woman tripped and descended down the wooden stairs on the Manhattan side of the bridge. As the story goes, her fall caused another woman to scream and those nearby rushed towards the scene. The commotion sparked a chain reaction of confusion. More people mobbed the narrow staircase, and a rumor that the bridge would collapse began in the crowd. With thousands of people on the promenade, a stampede caused the deaths of at least 12 people. 8. But a parade of elephants quelled any doubts. When the Brooklyn Bridge was gearing up for its opening day, P.T. Barnum made a proposal to walk his troop of elephants across it, but authorities turned him down. After the stampede, however, there remained doubts if the bridge was indeed stable. So in 1884, P.T. Barnum was asked to help squelch those lingering concerns, and he got the opportunity to promote his circus. His parade of bridge-crossing elephants included Jumbo, Barnum's prized giant African elephant. As the New York Times reported at the time, at 9:30 o'clock 21 elephants, 7 camels, and 10 dromedaries issued from the ferry at the foot of Cortlandt Street. The other elephants shuffled along, raising their trunks and snorting as every train went by. 9. This bridge inspired the saying, "I've got a bridge to sell you," because people were actually trying to sell the Brooklyn Bridge. Con artist George C. Parker is supposedly the man who came up with the idea of selling the Brooklyn Bridge to unsuspecting visitors after it opened. His scam actually worked, as it is said he sold the bridge twice a week for 2 years. Reports say he targeted gullible tourists and immigrants. He didn't just put a price tag on the bridge, he also sold off Grant's tomb, the Statue of Liberty in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Parker's success convinced other conmen to try their hand at selling the bridge, but none were as successful. The sensation, however, inspired the phrase, "I've got a bridge to sell you." Parker did see consequences for his scamming. After being arrested for fraud a few times, he was sent to Sing Sing for life in 1928. 10. Despite its strength, the bridge still moves. Even today, the Brooklyn Bridge rises about 3 inches if it's extremely cold. It's a result of the cables contracting and expanding in cold temperatures, which has happened ever since the bridge was complete. But you'd be mistaken to think the cables don't have superhuman strength. Each cable is made of 19 separate strands, each of which has 278 separate wires. To install the cables, workers would splice wires together, then tie them to make the strands. A boat would come from Brooklyn and sail it across to the Manhattan side. Then, 2 winches on the outside of the towers would hold the strands in place as workers raised them to the top. This tedious process, often interrupted by weather, took 2 years to complete. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you liked the video, please share and subscribe.